When I'm gonna sing a little ditty until some people filter in. Pardon my complexion and my mullet. No, actually, the hair's just on this side. What I do for art. So basically, I just was gonna give you guys an update. Why may be slowing down a teeny bit the next short little bit on how many videos I'm able to release. Let's see here. Let me turn off my notifications so that's not so annoying. There we go. All right, guys. Well, welcome. Come on in. People filter in for a moment. I know I usually do these on Thursday or on Sunday or special occasions, but today is kind of a special occasion in that I'm back home out of the doctors again. Went in, had a potential deep vein blood clot on Thursday. They wanted me to stay and hang out with the cool nurses and doctors there for, I don't know, 72 hours for observation or something. And since I didn't have it in my femoral artery, I decided that I was going to go on my vacation that was planned to Portland, which is a drive, but it's safe. There's hospitals and stuff there. Obviously, I live in Seattle, so we weren't flying. So decided to go, but while I was gone, my Kribs got sick, and then I got back. My pain got worse. I got sick, so I spent this morning in another close to freak out episode, I guess, where the doctors checked me into the ICU thing and did a bunch of tests, and it turned out that I didn't have another clot, which was good. But what did happen today was my Kribs, which I'll flip around here, my Nigerian Kribs, Nigerian red, pelvicochromis tinnitus Nigerian red is the species out of Nigeria, and they are a morph of the tinnitus, are sick again. So if you can see here on this guy, he's got a big old case of bulgy eyes, as well as some white lesions. Let's see, I'll turn him around so you guys can see. As well as these kind of like bumps in his head. Hey, thanks guys. Thanks, James. So you can see he's got these divots in his head that have white lesions in them, and so I'm assuming it's bacterial. So if we go back and we recall, these Kribs have been treated for with general cure, salt, X, as well as the antifungal and what is it called? I'm trying to remember which one I use now. Levamisole is the one that I ended up using, as well as the stuff that was in the general cure. And then erythromycin is what I treated him with. Now, he seems a little more active, as does she, but he looks worse. So I don't know if it's like some sort of like dropsy type related thing, or bacterial, or if I'm off track, but basically I conferred with some of my best go-to folks, and by the looks of the definite bulging eyes and the divots on his head, we probably are dealing with some sort of bacterial infection. Not ick. No one else in the tank has any ick. I mean, he could have a secondary parasitic / fungal infection because he's so run down, but basically he's got a cloudy eye now and it's bulging. And so before we treated him with gram-negative antibiotics, and now we're going to go with gram-positive, which is basically a way of saying there are two different bacterial infections, and they work in different ways. Gram-negative versus gram-positive, it's how the outside of the bacteria stains when you're looking at it. under the microscope, and some guy named Graham, I believe. I might have this wrong, so if I'm wrong, just yell at me. But some guy named Graham came up with a way using a dye to stain them, and then turns out some types stain the outside of their cell wall, or the nucleus wall on the bacteria is stainable, and the other one is not. So that tells you then which type of antibiotic you can use to fight it. Now, the bummer is that if this is bacterial, then this second round of antibiotics, which, by the way, I went with Maricin 2, which is a Mardel, aka Fritz product, and we used the first one. Let's see if I've still got the package around here somewhere. Well, I showed it in past videos, so you can check it out. But this one is a little more heavy duty in that you double the initial dosaging, and then it blasts everything out of the tank, essentially, with that first dosage, and then the next few days it decreases, it steps down in dosage. So hopefully this takes care of the problem. Plus we've got the catappa leaves, we got the salt, we got the TDS lowered other than the salt, which is in their little quarantine thing. Clearly that will leak out into the rest of the tank, but it does allow them to get a good concentration of those items and treatments in the meantime. They also have a bubble stone or air stone going in their little ICU. Someone else coined it their ICU, and with this week's events and me being in urgent care, walk-in clinic, the ER slash the ICU part of the ER slash imaging in the hospital, it seems rather fitting that I'll just call this the ICU. And my poor little Kribs are sick, and I just wanted to say that, you know, we're going into week 2 or over 2, so like 2.5, almost week 3 since this whole thing started. They're still holding on. He has a lot more life than his zombie mode, but he looks worse. His color's a little off, and his eyes foggy. I hope it's not permanent damage. It could be, and if it's just surface level damage, I won't be, you know, if it's superficial damage, I won't be worried. On a side note, I wanted to show you guys my project that is evolving, which is trying to breed the Japanese blue Endler, which also has some guppy in it. Only male in the tank, by the way, with other strains of Endlers and or guppies. Now, I was trying to keep it mostly Endlers, and so these two females here are Endler. It's hard to tell females apart between guppy and Endler, but they are, and this one with the orange tail actually happens to be a female guppy. So yeah, what you're looking at is a female guppy here with the rainbow tail. So kind of funky. I thought it was a male, but then when puffed up, realized that the gonopodium under that is actually not a gonopodium. It is shaped fully as a triangle, and if you look carefully, there's also a gravid spot where she is pregnant. So kind of funky, but that's cool because I wanted to breed some color into the females, but I don't know what that'll do to the male line. So this is all an experiment. The line's not pure at all anymore. I thought I had female versions of these blue Japanese Endlers, as we have established in the past. I did not. And oh, hey, what's up, Patricia? You know, I apologize that I didn't announce all of this. I just wanted to talk to you guys rather than do like a video update. I wanted to talk one-on-one, so to speak, with y'all, because it's been kind of a crazy week. I went down to Portland to celebrate my wife's birthday because it was her big 40th birthday, and we had all these plans and all her friends coming in from all over the country, and I didn't want to miss it. Hey, Betsy. So basically, I decided to go against doctor's orders. We had one of our good friends who's a nurse, and another two of them are in the medical field. So I figured, what the heck, I'll play Russian roulette, so to speak, and I left the hospital with a blood clot and went down to Portland. Also, I filmed at the wet spot in Portland, which is awesome. There was a pretty bad make it 3. Hey, Bob. Welcome. Also, there was a pretty bad quality quick run through at the wet spot of a live stream, but I couldn't get live streams to work in Portland. It was St. Patrick's Day and everyone was in town for the marathon and for like all the streets being closed for drinking fests and stuff. And so the cell phone service, like you could get a text out or you could call sometimes, but half the time it would say network is overloaded, try again, or some weird message like that. So I just wanted to point out that this mail is, well, fun. It's dizzying. I'm sorry, that wet spot video is super dizzying, super nauseating. This male is displaying for the females in the tank and definitely chasing them around. But one male to, like, I don't know, 6 females. Plus, also the Malaysian trumpet snails have gotten large, so that's interesting. And I also found a fellow who will be sending, or I will be getting it as long as I'm feeling up to driving, a killifish female that is a proven female breeder. And hopefully we'll be doing some experiments, maybe off to the side. I might just get like a plastic tub even and poke holes in it, but try to get them to lay some eggs at the top there, since the other fish and snails and things will eat the killie eggs. But I would really like to start breeding the banded clown killie, aka rocket killie, and I think that would be a fun side project. So that's going on. But the cooler news is I don't know, can you see it? It's so clear. It's low iron glass. I have a new bookshelf case. So this isn't a whole lot of volume, but it's just under 7 gallons. It's 6 point something. And it's like it's 27 point some inches. Very clear, low iron, and it has 96% light transparency. Relic turtle, hello, nice to meet you. Q for you is the rocket killifish you want to breed most. Oh no, so all right, hold on, let me finish the tank thing, because the tank thing's kind of exciting. So this is keeping me going because I've been real run down, and I apologize for all the ums and kind of like confusion maybe even in my videos. Turns out that I wasn't getting all of the blood to my head because of the blood clots and so forth and so on, and just being worn down. So I have lupus. You can Google it. But basically my body attacked itself, and my white blood cells attacked my veins, my liver, and my kidneys the last week. I'm not a drinker anymore because of some of those issues. So luckily, I have lots of liver and kidney to to get damaged, and you have two kidneys and your liver's resilient. So in any case, I just also wanted to say in this stream, it's really made me think, and you know what? Let's bring it in here, folks. It made me really think about how much the hobby means to me and how much it's been really moving to talk to you guys and to see what you're into, and to you guys ask a question and I'm like, I don't know the answer to that question. Let's look it up together, and to kind of take the hobby to the next level for myself, and then also share these vlogs of like what I'm doing. So there's the vlogs and there's the updates of I got this and this gave birth to that and these shrimp do this. And then there's also the history videos, biology videos, genealogy videos, genetics videos. And that was the core of the channel. And so I'm trying to figure out a way if I can do like a sub channel so that like you guys don't have to get all those alerts. But YouTube does like it when you have consistent video being posted daily. And so I try to post something daily, and I'm taking you down to another tank too. So it's kind of become a journal for me, which has been really, what's the word? Therapeutic. And I'm sorry again, guys, if I'm kind of like, my brain is a little bit, it's not getting enough oxygen essentially. So I'm on blood thinners too. They kind of make me woozy. So and all the ums and uhs, I feel like I'm going insane. Sorry, guys. But you've definitely all helped me get through this, and just like having a project to do each day other than freelance graphic design, which is real hit and miss. I know I'm dark, don't worry. Switching this around in a sec. So the other tank that I have right now is, hey, what up, Waterbox? I like your most recent video. Good stuff, brother. So I also have this tank. Problem being, this tank from Dustin's aquatic aquascaping challenge and the Aquatic Reef Expo in Seattle, I got to take this beast home. It's a great, solid, standard sized tank and everything. It is made out of the thickest, like, it's like bank robbing glass, like bulletproof glass, but it is ultra clear. I think it's 92%. Why is there light over there? It's dark here in LA. That's weird. I don't know. It should be brighter down there, I would think. Well, the sun is everything is tilted on its axis because it is spring today. Welcome spring. In any case, let me finish yakking on this tank. So I had kind of envisioned this tank being another shrimp tank or something along those lines, but it's super heavy. And without anything in it, without rocks or anything in it, this tank was like 40 pounds because of the glass and then a weighted bottom. And it only holds 7 gallons. So I like the square. I'm going to hold on to this for scaping purposes. I also will list it for sale, just so you know I'm not insane. I have that's an empty box of one of my lights. Also, I like the lights. They're fine, but for really growing plants in the aquarium, you want something better than that. Also, I'm getting ready to do gardening over here. We have a community garden next door. So I'll just show you real quick because I'm hoping to set up a pond. So I'll show you guys my plans with that in a moment. Are you guys there? Are you guys there? Can you still hear me? Sorry, I think I got disconnected. But in any case, so I was saying that we have this plot next to our apartment. We live in one of the 3 units, busy there. I hope I'm online right now. I'll get back into the house where there's Wi-Fi again. But basically, I have this 10 by 10 section of the plot that I'm hoping to sink tubs into, like Rubbermaid tubs, and then hoping to put, so we've got water and we've also got electricity up the hill, but I got to figure that out. I might get a little solar powered panel if I can afford it. Money's gonna be a little tight because I've got crazy lab bills from the doctor. Even though I have insurance and it's decent insurance, it's just it got expensive to get contrast dye tests and ultrasounds and sonographs or whatever they were, the tests, whatever all they did. But yeah, so we've got that spot over there that we can put a tank in, or Rubbermaid tubs in. And I actually have the tubs, come to think of it. So you can see up there, I've got these 30-gallon tubs up there. And so I might try with those, like a 30 or a 40-gallon big old tub. And then the new plan here is to also set up, condense the tanks down here into this being a fish room. So where all this crap, all my art is in the closet, I missed it. I was in the ICU. I am renting an apartment, and it is a communal garden. We have been on the wait list for 8 years, and finally got a community garden spot. But this fall I already shook things up and I planted mushrooms, oyster, matsutake, miyatake, lion's mane, and phoenix oyster mushrooms, all planted in the spots that no one was using. And at first everyone was like, "You can't do that. That's absurd." And then they realized like nothing was being done with those like blank spots and an old rotting log, and now we have mushrooms sprouting. So score. But in here, my art room slash our guest bedroom, we used to have a renter in here not too long ago. We're gonna be trying to condense some of my art stuff. Maybe I can put some. I don't have my gallery space anymore, but communal gardening, you hate that? Yeah, it's not like I have to share my space. My wife and I get a plot that was that plot that I was showing you guys, and then we get to do whatever we want there, basically. Whereas the other tiered sections of that are, everyone gets to do their own thing in their own section. By the way, like you said, it was dark in LA. It's beautiful. The sun's setting here. Can't quite see the mountains right now, but I love Seattle because if you're anywhere on a hill, you have a view of the mountains and stuff. I don't like it when people touch my dirt. Yeah, I agree. I would rather not share anything. And I know if I put a pond in, it's going to get all sorts of screwed up. But I want to give it a shot, give it a go. In this tank, I've got the gold ring danios, the what else is in here? The CPDs, and I think that's all I'm gonna probably try out there. Also, I've been given CO2 to this tank again, just the little 45 gram pain in my butt canisters. I got some free ones from a friend. So yeah. Also, we've got the Malawa shrimp here, Malawi from Sulawesi. Nice, but what about an indoor garden, Fish Studios? I live in a small studio and it's a fish room. Hold on. Sorry, I'm reading comments. My gallery is all over the walls and ceiling. Even on a day like today, I agree. I would love to do that. I would love to have my stuff all up on the wall and then have my my garden stuff on my porch and do an indoor aquaponics setup. Also, by the way, I just wanted to show you guys again how red, if you can see it, it's just not showing up on this. The YouTube camera needs some work, but believe me, that's very orange little pleco, and I got it for like $5.99. It was not listed as such. What's up, Fishman? And then I've also got these ram's horns that are blood red to bright orange, and also the blue dreams that are in here. Now, I'm teaming up with Flip Aquatics to get a hold of more. Enjoy the lemon squeezy. To get more access to shrimp, both rare species and caridina that are not readily available in my area. So that should be really exciting. We're in this tank right now. It's kind of all a Danio tank plus my leopard endlers. Stay still. But it's all bubbly right now because of the CO2. But the leopard endlers, they've given birth to a whole lot of babies that are swimming around. Some have died, honestly, but some are starting to show color and growing up, and I'm really excited. You can actually start to see some of their coloration, so I can start getting them out to people sooner rather than later is the hope. But there's still very young ones in there too, and there's middle-aged ones, and they're just scattered all over. They don't stay together anymore like when they were young. But this is Lucas Brett's strain. Right now the light's intense, but they have a very beautiful yellow color with blue on the outside of their spade tail. They're all chilling in here, as are the blue shrimp. So I don't know for sure, but I think Please don't move the camera so fast. Okay, I'm trying. Is this too fast? Or is this too fast? Because I'm moving it like my hand is just barely turning. Yes, they're both too fast. Okay, so we'll move slower. Sorry, guys. And yeah, so I've got 2 strains of CPDs. There's an orange strain and a red strain. And then we've got 2 gold ring Danios also. And in here we also have a very wide selection of plants. And this tank is the Iwagumi style tank. And because of that, the stone is the feature, and all of this needs lots of trimming. So it'll probably look ugly again for a little while, and then I'll trim it, and it'll look ugly again for a little while, and pretty again for a little while. It's kind of a never-ending battle. But I still love this tank, and I am using, for ferts, I'm using CO2, and then I'm also using Easy Green liquid pump, and then I also have root tabs. It's really overgrown right now, and it hasn't had CO2 for 2 or 3 weeks now. And so all the beautiful, delicate purples and reds that were in here are really dingy bronzes and browns right now. But it should return soon, especially with that fertilizer and the extra potassium, the extra iron. That should do it. Thank you very much for... yeah, it's kind of the opposite of my other tanks in that it's supposed to be about the stone. Also, I've got an extra set of filter sponges here because I want, after I'm done nuking the other tank with antibiotics, I want to use that, which has a healthy amount of beneficial bacteria. Yeah, iron will take over the CO2 if you... Wait, I bet magnesium and iron will take over the CO2 if you weaned it off. Yeah, exactly. Like, if once I establish a tank, it seems like you can kind of keep it at equilibrium with, like, even liquid, like, carbon or some charcoal in the filter and a little bit of iron and root tabs. Like, you can kind of, if the light's good, you can do it just fine as long as you got enough fish in there. And so that's all good. But then I wanted to show you guys this tank too, which you probably saw if you've watched my recent video on the Kribs. And I have a secret history, or a history video on them. I don't want to torture them, but let's see if we can coax her to come out, because she is beautiful. She is a beautiful little fish. Come on. Oh, but also wild caught, so kind of feisty. But yeah, so let's see if we can get her to show up just a little more. Come on. I don't want to scare you too much. Alright, well, well, that was hopeless. Well, I don't want to torture her, but we've got 2 Kribs in here, and they're really, really beautiful ones. We've got, these are called Lacunja Kribs, and they're from just north of the place which Kribs are named after. Also, you can see the male has totally fortified this cave, so I don't want to disturb him. But that was all sand if you look at the last video. And he is in there guarding that cave like none other. And if I even, let's see, tap on the cave, he'll come, his nose will come out like he's ready to fight. And there were coal shrimp in this tank, like from up in this bin up here. But they're pretty much disappearing as fast as possible because of the Kribs, which is okay. Like, I wanted them to know that they have live food so that they would spawn. But these ones are wild caught. It's from a location above the falls in Lacunja, which is kind of a rare place to collect. Give the man a few... Oh, thanks. Yeah, this isn't the best live cast. Oh, look at that shrimp just chilling right next to the fish that could very, very likely eat it. But yeah, so I just wanted to show you guys these Kribs. She has just the most beautiful colors if we can get them on film properly. Come on. There we go. There we go. You guys got a glimpse of her. I don't want to scare her anymore. So, yeah, that shrimp is probably going to not be there next time I come back. But giving Kribs, or any fish for that matter, live food is a good idea because it shows them, in theory, that if they reproduce, that their babies will have readily available food. So these are a rare morph of Krib. They're the Lacunja, but they're the upper falls fish. So they're similar to Maliwe or Maluwe or the Bipindi Kribs, and that means that they have that distinct yellow color on them along with the purple and green. So they're just very pretty, and they have like turquoise, just crystalline, beautiful eyes too. And so I've got some spiderwood in here that's also trying to get saturated, and I'll probably turn this old shrimp tank into a full-on Krib hatchery. So those adults, once, if hopefully they have babies, I will then get them out of there, the adults, after they're done raising them for a couple months. And then we'll probably put the adults over here. But over here, sorry, I know that was shaky. Over here, we've got some new friends as well, and I thought I'd introduce you guys. I don't know if I answered Waterbox's question. I can't remember because my brain's not working. But I was in the hospital. I have an autoimmune disease called lupus, and my body decides to attack itself from time to time, and my white blood cells started attacking my my veins and my organs, as well as my skin. But I'm hanging in there. The clot didn't go to my brain, but it just, yeah, it's been an ordeal. So but I wanted to touch base with y'all in this video, just because, as I was saying, like, and I kind of rambled on as I always do, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for being a part of my life, a part of the hobby, for letting me know things. MS, you have MS and it attacks your central nervous system. Yeah, Vexing Cat, I'm sorry, that's really hard. You know, I've always had health issues, but as far, you know, and I've been in the ICU a few times for anaphylactic shock from inflammatory reactions and things like that. But I just wanted to, like, point out that, you know, people sometimes, like, make fun of us as fish nerds, or, you know, like, think, oh, that's cute. But for me, this is a really therapeutic thing. And, you know, everybody has a different level that that they take it to, but for me, especially the planted tanks have changed the game. Aquascaping a little and the planted tanks have changed the game. I've always had a fondness for fish tanks and things like that, and caring for fish. For over 20 years I've had them, and I've bred guppies and random cichlids, but this is for the Kribs to put floating plants in and kind of set it up for lower light. Yeah, totally. It does need a lot lower light. You're totally right, Relic Turtle. My Krib tanks need lower light, and they need like lots of Anubias and Java Fern hanging over, and I actually leave the blue light on most of the day. I just turned it on so you guys could see. But they live in a thick jungle of slow-moving water with low TDS that's acidic and has lots of tannin. So I also need to pick up some catappa leaves tomorrow if I'm up to leaving the house. But I wanted to point out that the shrimps that I moved that were cold shrimps, back there's some. I'm trying not to pan too fast. Down here, there's some hiding amongst things. But they all have colored up incredibly. So there's an orange one that was clear. Here's the big mama that was always a nice looking one. And it's not going to look super red for you guys probably because that's the nature of the YouTube autofocus, auto light. It's like something out of 1999 digital camera. It's like a 1 megapixel camera, I swear. But yeah, so this tank also, it's not scaped currently. If you followed the saga of the sick Kribs, I totally, my fish's health comes before my scapes, even if I spend dozens of hours on it. And so I got them, I had to get them taken care of, find them, get the thing cleaned out, get it rescaped, get the plants out that were a problem, get the substrate out that was a problem, all of that stuff. This tank is filled to the brim. We have some new interesting friends in it, which are these black and blue striped neon tetras. They've had several names, but the wet spot in Portland, Oregon is known to come up with fish that have not been classified yet. They buy from small folk that are collecting and things like that. On location. And so these do look like the black neon tetras or the black striped tetras, but they have beautiful blue finnage and then a turquoise and kind of like a yellow or cream color. Like even though it's metallic, it has like this weird cream color and it's not showing up super well in the live stream, but I'll get another video recorded here, maybe like pull some more light onto them. But if you can see that their fins are totally blue, like in a translucent way, and then their eyes have a blood red iris, just like these sunset or orange-eyed lemon tetras. And so it's just another morph, just like you've seen lemon tetras. These lemon tetras have that morph. And so I got those at the wet spot also, and they are just, I'm really excited because they're just super beautiful fish. And I got 7 or 8 of them. I can't recall at the moment. I'll look at the invoice later. And they seem to school really well. I wish I'd bought more and switched tank mates around. The other thing that I got were some purple and gold Corydoras. They didn't have a scientific name on them. They had 3 guesses as to possible morphs of other Corydoras, but they look like the green and gold ones. But that gold color, when they're up at the top of the tank, which they actually feed, they'll jet right up to the top and compete with everybody. And they're wild caught, obviously. They have, you can kind of see that purplish tan color. So instead of a gold, it's more of a purple, and then the grayish area reflects as an emerald green. So those were another really cool fish, and you can see that the tetra is trying to like butt in on it, and the Cory is not having it. What's up, Fabuloso? My tanks have been a balm to me after losing my heart dog just this past Friday, but we knew it was coming. Well, I'm sorry that your dog passed away, Betsy. That's really rough. I'm sorry. Let's see, I'm just reading some comments. Yeah, floating plants. I need to put more. I've got lots of water lettuce and things still stored up in hiding spots, but it will reproduce very quickly. So I might put that in the crib tank, and then I'll keep a blue filtered light over it just so they're more comfortable, especially since they're new. But this has really become a tetra tank. We've got 2 rainbow forktails in here and about 3 guppies. But really, it is a tetra tank and Corydora tank. So there's Corydora julii and Hebrosis. But the ones that I brought you guys over here to see are hiding. And I guess I did too good of a job giving everybody hiding spots. Because, and you know what's weird is that these Corydoras and the tetras and these very teeny shrimp, there's some very small ones you probably can't see, are all eating off the same algae wafer, and usually they eat each other. But these Corydoras I really like. They're very active because they're the wild caught. And This tank is really well balanced at the moment. So hopefully everybody's doing okay. I was assured that they were all quarantined for the last 35 days because when I visited the store, they had just gotten some of these things, and those Kribensis lacunga. Check out the video I posted yesterday. Talks all about it and some history of them and probably more information that you could want to know. But this tank is kind of just a big old mess of plants, trying to cram as many species as I can into it. And there's all sorts of funky stuff going on back in there. I've got a little bit of algae growing on some of the things going on. I've got bacopa and brownie eye, and what else is in here that's kind of odd? Aromatica. We've got some Rotala, Rotundophilia cubana, which is kind of cool. But the fish that I wanted to show you, which there are 6 of, you can see that I have so many hiding spots in this tank, and all these rocks and sticks and layers of plants, that everybody gets to kind of have their own section. So even though it's loaded, there's still a nice open space for them to swim. It's a 40-gallon and it's tall. And then there's also up here all the guppies, the little tetras, the forktails, and then the dwarf neon rainbows. They all eat up top. The other fish, like the lemon tetras and things, you know what? Why don't we just feed them? Let's feed them. That'll be entertaining. And maybe you can see what I'm talking about, which is 6 more Kribs that are Moliwe Kribs. So I should have 3 types of Kribs, and these wild tetras are insane. When they eat, they are like little torpedoes. They just come out of nowhere, and they're like, pew, pew. So they'll clean up most of that before it hits the bottom. Like nothing is making it past around here. And I put a good pinch in. So it's a feeding frenzy. Nobody really beats up on each other, which is good. But it is a feeding frenzy for sure. I can put a little bit more in another spot, and hopefully that'll split it up a little bit. But it seems like a lot of food, and it all gets eaten in like 10 seconds. So these fish, they do have a big waste output. Some of them, like for their size, like the lemon tetras seem to actually put out quite a bit of waste and ammonia. If you just have them in like a container, within a couple hours, you'll see the ammonia spike. Also, they all color up really nicely when they're feeding and eating and stuff. And so I just wanted to make note of that. We've still got one lone endler. Is there a tetra that was the first one to be cataloged as a tetra? You know, that's a good question. I'll look that up. I would guess it's probably the neon tetra, because they're just so abundant. But I'll look that up. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of times it's really hard to find answers to those questions, and so I'll be researching something else, and by default, I'll figure it out. Now, this is the gudgeon, the infamous peacock gudgeon who killed 70% of my baby shrimp. And also, so here we go. Here's one of the Tiniatus. This looks to be the female, which is nice that we're seeing some color and things coming out in her. And, oh, the bright orange fish. So those are actually, and some of them are like almost red, almost like a bloody red color. Those are ember tetras. I've been feeding them a very, very diverse diet. The History of Aquariums. Betsy, you like that one? I'm trying to do more of that, but I'm also just trying to make content on like updating. And for me, like, it's cathartic to do that. I wish I could do it so that you guys only got alerts on the historic ones or the informational ones and not necessarily all these live casts, because I know not everybody wants to watch that, but a lot of people have expressed their interest in the other stuff. And, you know, it's great for the channel if you guys click the bell that says that you want to be alerted when there's new videos. But I just know yeah, to show the feedings daily, I do want to do some more little make your titles more descriptive. Yeah, you can only put so much in a title, and also if it's too specific, it's difficult to for anybody to find it. YouTube buries it. Once I get bigger, as they say, like 20,000 followers or something like that, then you can start to say obscure stuff in the title and descriptive specific niche, and it works out. But I just wanted to show you too that these tetras, since they're wild caught, like here's the big one right up here, and then there's like smaller ones too back there, and they all kind of just do their thing. Also, I wanted to show you that just now, first time I've seen it, it has come out of hiding because of the excess food, and you can't see it because this camera is terrible on YouTube. But we've got an Endler with the leer tail or split tail that is from the other tank, and I did not realize it was in here. Probably one of the fry was on a plant, and so very cool. But it should be a leopard Endler mixed with a lyre or leer tail. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for the 1,000 followers. I know, but many title your history videos with history blah 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 blah, live stream topic blah blah blah. What do you suggest, Betsy? I'm open to whatever you think it should say. You get like 60 characters on a live stream, so this was like, I mean, I didn't know what to say because I'm talking about so many different things in this video. So I said the ICU for my Kribs, which I showed you guys, and the ICU for me, both been there. But this guy is a girl, is a little Moliwe Krib, and I've got 6 of them as babies that were captive born, and then we've got the other ones. Do you like fish or shrimp more? I probably like fish more to just sit back and watch from afar, but shrimp I really have begun to appreciate the colony as a whole, like watching their genetics and all of that sort of thing it's very cool. Yeah, Debbie, so I talked about this a little earlier, and we'll get off this tank in one moment. You would have said ICU and Kribs? Well, I did say that. But are you saying just simply that? What up, Steve? So yeah, in any case, that's this tank right now. The gudgeons are still evil, and they're supposed to be peaceful, but they're evil little SOBs, and they eat every living thing in the tank that they can fit in their mouth. Some things that they can't fit in their mouth. Yeah. And then wow, it's gotten dark since we started this live stream, but I have now a almost 30-inch long clear, maybe, how tall is it? I don't even know. This is going to be a project for Flip Aquatics, most likely. Let's see. Well, thank you, Kathy. I appreciate you liking the uniqueness of the channel. I got to produce some of the same stuff, like care videos and just things like that, but I'm trying to put my own spin on the history and the background and some trivia. Like, it's supposed to be like a Trivial Pursuit game, or how it ties into other elements of the world and life, because a lot of people aren't into fish, but like my wife will watch a YouTube video that talks about like important women in history and fish, you know, something like that. And that's a video I would like to make soon. What are your thoughts on the practice on microcultures and stuff? Seed shrimp and nematode worms. You should pronounce lyre the same way you would pronounce the instrument. It's the shape of a lyre. I've heard them. Okay, so I know like the Roman version is lyre pronounced. Lear, I don't know why in the hobby I've heard very distinguished breeders say that too. Lyre's tail, I say too, but lyre, people get confused. They're like, what does that mean? The lying fish? So sometimes I just say them both. There's so many ways to pronounce things but I agree. We can stick to one. It's a trap! General Akbar screamed. Yeah. Lyre, Lear, Learjet, Liar, don't have a Latin background. Yeah, well, the problem, Betsy, is that nobody has a Latin background. It's a dead language. We don't know what Latin sounded like. Exactly, anyways. We know what Catholic modern day Latin sounds like. But even Latin has. You do? Cool. Time traveler. Because, I mean, the Catholic Church in Italy has one way of saying it. My roommate who I lived with for 10 or 7 years of college, because I was a history and anthropology archaeology major, and he was a Greek, Latin, and Roman history major, and he still would have these long, long debates and arguments about how to say things in Latin. In fact, my newest Kribs video talks about the word teniatus and how it can be pronounced teniatu, teniate, or tiniatus, or taniatus, or taniatus, and it all depends on which accent you have. So, in any case, we don't know what Old Latin sounds like. We know what we've agreed upon now. I try to figure out what that is usually, but sometimes it's not what's most common. Like really or Riley shrimp. I've heard both, and I don't know the answer. Tenses, those are tenses, past, present, future. No, I'm just saying those are ways, like, go onto, like, type in teniatus, AE, and see how it's pronounced by the robot, and it'll say, Riley is like Riley. Yeah, but I've also heard really. And so for every person I talk to, I get told and then chewed out by someone else, all people who know what they're talking about, that there's like 2 or 3 ways to say certain things. And I guess I should just pick one and let one group yell at me instead of saying multiple things. There is no E there. A man Riley likes the name. Riley, well, never mind. We're going to debate forever. Yeah, I came, I saw, I conquered, or I won. So, when doing research on Latin, also, you have to figure out what is the Greek stem, if it has that, or if it was a later French version or Swiss version from, like, Linnaeus. And that will tell you, whoa, I just found out that I can do this. Yeah, mind blown. That's enough of that. But yeah, there's French Latin, there's English Latin. I know that sounds insane, but I'm just saying that every culture has a different pronunciation for certain things. Just because, just like I say New York, it's also New York, or Paris is Paris. So there's different ways that different people are going to say it, so I don't know how you say what the right way is. Especially if like a French person came up with the word, then do you go with the French pronunciation of the Latin word? Medical pronunciations. Yeah, I know, Betsy, I get that you are taught Latin, and I totally, I bet you know perfect American English Latin, the way we pronounce it. But what I'm saying is, like, if you have an Australian accent or a Jamaican accent, the way you say a word is different. Just as if we have, even in our most boring, as you would say, non-accent of English, in our newscaster standard English. What's that called again, honey? Our plain accent? My wife's an anthropologist, too. In any case, the standard English West Coast newscaster, mid 20th century American cliche accent, that is an accent, so you're pronouncing those Latin words with that accent probably. Well, stop talking to these stupid things. We're going to stop talking about this. I hear you, Vex and Cat. Betsy, I hear you. Everyone has their own way of pronouncing things. Anyway, don't want me to argue. No, it's all good. And I'm not trying to, like... I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to beat anyone up or, like, argue. I was just discussing the Admiral Akbar statement as, it's a trap, no matter how you say it. I'll have Italians upset with me, or I'll have Australians upset with me, or something like that, you know. Or I mean, like when we refer to uh, cities like Florence, Italy, um, it's Firenze or Firenze or whatever you say. It's not Florence. And so it's their country. I would say that we should pronounce it the way they want it pronounced. But there's things like that too in the fish world. Would you ever get a monster fish such as a rat tail catfish or arowana or a bichir? Bichir is another one. So bichir has one name. That is also a word in Arabic, and it is a common person's name, and it would be Bashir, not the same as Bashir, but Bishir. My friend who is from Egypt gave me a lecture on the pronunciation of that one. But a lot of these are also like figures that have names. So like Axelradi. Yeah. So the origin of words is interesting because like Tiniatus, tini means striped or ribbon, and tinius is a Greek word that means a ribbon in the hair worn by women during like formal occasions. And that's where the Pelvicochromis tiniatus get their name because of the stripe on their lip and on their head. I know I'm in the dark. What am I doing? Look at some fish. Look at them fish, you mongrels. You drink my Dr. Pepper in secret. What do I feed? Oh, you're talking to someone else. But yeah, I'd love to have monster fish if I had the room. I don't have the room. I don't have a house. I have this apartment. I've given you guys a tour of the entire apartment while this cast has gone on. So we are probably moving, my wife and I, before December of this year. And it is quite likely that when that happens, I can expand. Also, in that guest bedroom, it is quite likely that I will build a rack sometime soon and try to put any non-landscape, non-aquascape tanks I want to try to put down there, like breeding tanks and shrimp tanks and things like that. So here are the lacunje. That's another word that you're going to debate the pronunciation of because it is not even a local word, even though it looks like it is. It was a word translated by the French incorrectly, as was Kribensis or Kribensis, as was the whole country of Cameroon. It was Cameron under the Germans and Cameroon under the French, and Cameroon now. Yeah, I have had poison dart frogs. I love poison arrow frogs. They are very cool. You can feed them nice things, and they will not be poisonous. They're cool. I used to have those. I used to have all sorts of frogs. African, what were they called? African something frogs. I'm totally spacing. They're like a little mud frog. But you can see the male here. He's coloring up a little bit. Ooh, you saw the purple on his tail? His whole body colors up. So he turns yellow and orange and blue. And then his tail is purple leopard spots when they're either hungry or going at it. So these ones are definitely my new favorites. I want the Nigerian red Kribensis to get better. But there's a whole colonial crazy history on the naming of places and of these fish anyways. And I would love try a place name like Camarug. I don't know. I don't even know how to say that. Gorgeous, no doubt. Yeah, so I love this guy. These guys are wild, and I'm really hoping that they breed. Now, purportedly, they are a pair. Now, how you get a pair from the wild out of a bunch of them in a tub together being imported, I do know that these were the only two left, the only two survivors, and they do seem to get along okay. She has done her mating dance in this new habitat. He has not shown that he is interested. But what I do, so I'm going to do this right now since we're nearing the end of the cast, is I leave the lighting like this with the blue, and then they get enough light from this tank here that it kind of filters down onto them. And also, one moment, you're going to look at the ground for a sec, because I'm going to turn off my CO2 for the night. Alright, so CO2 turned off, that aquascape there. We've got the new tank. Got to figure out where I'm going to put it. It is going to be full of shrimp from Flip Aquatics. That's the big secret. Show chat. Why is this? You know what? They could make this app a whole lot more streamlined if they wanted to. All right. UFC fighter is from Cameroon. Oh. Hey. I'm just reading back the chat. Food of many different things, staples of salmon, cod, but I also... Oh, you're talking about turtles. Okay, so anybody watching this later will think that I'm schizophrenic talking to myself. Yeah, he is playing hard to get. What do you think of a pair of lacunja in a 75 with small schooling fish like cherry barbs and rainbows? World War III if they breed. Well, they're going to eat all the rainbow babies. That's first. They're also going to just mow down on any loose finnage if anybody intrudes onto their territory. Yeah, the new tank, I don't know how I'm going to aquascape that. It's got a really long presence, so I think I'll probably do a miniature scape, and I think I'm going to use Fluval Stratum or Brightwell because it's for Neocaridina. Nope. Just also what I feed. Oh, okay. Also, pretty big these days. Yeah, some of the Tinniatus, the Kribensis, can get pretty big. Pretty big. I'm walking through the dark part of my house to get a drink of water. Pardon me. We will have to be in the dark for a moment as I drink from the sink like a mongrel. All right. I'm back. And you can look at some art. You want to look at some weird art? This is from a friend of mine who just opened a new gallery. Real odd. What's my favorite fish? Hey, some questions. I like these questions, guys, because it's all about me and it's easier to answer. It's easier to answer than really elaborate questions, which I'm happy to answer. But it's easier to answer when I'm in my current mental state, which is not up to par. And, these have to probably be my favorite fish. Just because I've been through so much with them. These Nigerian red Kribs. You can watch my old videos to see how they were. Is there a peaceful crawfish? No. Sorry. There's not necessarily a peaceful crawfish or crayfish. There's another one, guys. Pronunciation. Or is it a crawdad? Or is it a mud skipper? Or is it a mud puppy? Do you supplement any calcium in my red cherry shrimp tank? What I do is I add crushed coral. Also, I've been known to do the odd thing, which is a bamboo shrimp a shrimp or as big as a crawfish? Bamboo shrimp do get several inches, up to 4 inches long. I have a video about them. They're Adiopsis, I want to say, is their family. Yeah, I can't remember for sure. I did a video on them. I don't remember the full Latin names of them. But they do get large. They are very peaceful. They don't have the ability to do anything other than swipe food out of the air or out of the water. They have fans. And I heard them called all of those. We used to catch them and have a big old. Okay, Betsy, how do you say crawfish? You say it like you just spelled it? Yeah, I'm allergic to shellfish also, which is funny. I'm allergic to almonds and shellfish, yet I've got shrimp tanks with catappa, which is almond, Indian almond, and then shrimp, which are shellfish. And so I thought I was going to have a reaction putting my hand in the tank when I first did a long while back. Your family use crayfish. Yeah, my family uses crawdad, and they live near Shreveport. You guys are missing out. Or craydad. Oh, wow. All right. Is that... Wait, is that Missouri? Where did you say you're from? Ozarks. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. How do you breed cherry shrimp? You've tried times, they all die. You know what would help you breeding cherry shrimp? What would help you is if, one, no fish in the tank. No fish at all. Because they will eat the babies. I am able to raise them with shrimp because I have enough hiding spots. I have rock hides. I have videos on this stuff. So do a lot of people. Lots of thick moss, things like that. But the numbers are far, far lower than if you just raise them alone. If you just had them alone, you would easily have 5 to 10 times more baby shrimp. And that's if you know what you're doing. Northwest, you say crayfish. Yeah, in the Northwest, I think it's agreed upon that we say crayfish. What's also weird, I'm not allergic to shrimp, crab, etc. That is very weird. Maybe you're allergic to something in their diet, like in the mud. Because they are freshwater mud eaters. Poo eaters. I don't know. Detritus eaters. Well, I am getting near the end here. I'm getting real tired mentally. What was the question I was going to answer? Oh yeah, peaceful crawfish also is the Mexican orange dwarf ones. It's not that they're peaceful, but they are small enough that they can't do as much damage. So that's nice. And I'm just going to talk to y'all for a minute with no video, and we'll end that way. Thanks for watching, guys. As I said, you guys are like therapy to me, and it's very moving that you guys all get something out of it, whether it's just de-stressing when you get home or relaxing. It's just, for me, this last few weeks, it's been a matter of, possibly life or death that I'm dealing with stress-wise, and just like, what am I going to do with my wife and my family? And, it's a difficult thing to consider because lupus, there's no really cure, and the medications are really expensive. And I don't want to whine about all that, but I'm just saying that that is a stress load. Then trying to bring in my graphic design and art normal income. It's been great to have YouTube to be a therapy, to talk with you guys, to make friends with people who maybe right around me. I don't have that many people who are into fish. My wife, she tolerates them, but she's not crazy about fish. She thinks they're cool once I get them all set up, but that's kind of the extent of it. She's not super into them, and so it's been really refreshing to log on at any given time and to read comments of people asking questions. If I don't know the answer, I will never try to make up an answer if I don't know without telling you. If I answer incorrectly, it's because I have the wrong information, and I'm open to learning, and I'm here to learn from you guys too. Because anybody who says they know everything about a subject probably doesn't know that much about that subject, or life in general. Usually, there are exceptions, but I know some about history, anthropology, and the natural world. And I really want to make art and science fun. Thank you for being around. Thank you for being on the stream and watching. You got your old lady interested in fish? That's rad, dude. I'm so happy they could do that. Meds are expensive, even with health insurance. One of your meds is $260 a month. Yeah, exactly. Waterbox. I had been for an injection. If I start doing this injection therapy that they're recommending, so I don't get blood clots, it's going to be right around $1,800 a month. My rent is $2,000, and that's not counting other bills in life. So I know most people don't spill their guts like this or personal info, but that's just to give you guys some perspective of like Seattle. And even though I have insurance and my wife works a good job, I work a job that doesn't have benefits, but I do work through a design firm and a lot of other places. How much is the insurance covering? Insurance is covering, I don't know, like 4,000 of it. Each injection is like $6,000. It is absurd. It is a brand name new biologic drug. Even like Humira, is it Humana? One's an insurance company and one's a drug. But some of those drug injections that you do twice a month are like $2,000 to $3,000 a pop. Same with chemo. My uncle had a chemo medication that cost him $18,000 a month. And AIDS medications used to be like that. Cancer medications are always like that. But there's got to be a max out of pocket. There is for a lot of things, but for medication, I don't know what it is offhand. I think it's 5,000. So I would hit that quickly, but still, for me, that's money I don't have. Like pigs. Let's see, what are we looking at? Peripheral neuropathy. Yeah, no cure. That's just a pain. Yeah, I've had that. I have herniated discs, and so I get the peripheral nerve pain also. So I kind of understand that, but I know it's different if it's like a diabetic thing or something along those lines. The other thing I want to incorporate into this channel, I'm going to say before I go, is that I am also going to start showing you guys some of my art. And it will be fish related probably. But I thought that might be fun. Maybe I'll do a shirt or something. And then with that money, maybe I can get like some better editing software, or maybe a microphone so you guys can hear me better, or whatever you guys think. Like if it's just more interesting fish or more trips places, whatever that may be, or just the ability to mail out free fish to backers and things. Yeah, so thanks again for watching. Waterbox, thank you for chilling. I gotta catch your next one. Also, if you guys haven't clicked the little has some art in the background, yeah, Corvus does, definitely. Him and I have similar styles too. I've crossed paths with him in the professional art world. Just remember a good sense of humor is where it's at. You gotta love and laugh. I am Jewish by blood partially, and I think that's where I get the like dark sense of humor. Like the doctor was talking to me and he's like, well, we'll see if how this scan goes. You're either going to have or what did he say? The copay might be expensive. And I was like, well, how much is it? And he's like, well, it'll either be $6,000 or you may be dead. And I was just like, wow, that's really expensive. I don't have any dead right now. And like, just, I don't even, just stupid stuff I say when I'm stressed, but humor's gotta play a part in life when when stuff's rough. But, yeah, if you guys need to talk, I'm always here too. You know, that's the thing, is we're not that huge of a channel yet that I can't manage talking to you guys, and so it means a lot when I hear that one of you has MS or one of you has peripheral neuropathy, and like maybe this is an activity you can do to get your mind off things. You know, like, that's where it's at. Like, everybody's got to have a hobby. This isn't my only one, but it's the one that I really like right now. So thank you guys very much for helping build this community. And, like, you know, the names that now I'm seeing whenever there's a live stream and I see you guys comment, that's always really awesome. You guys are always clicking the like button and sharing stuff. And thank you so much. So PTSD for me. Yeah, so, oh, PTSD. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's really rough. Well, all right, the live stream is out of live, so you guys all have a great night. Thank you for following, even though my brain's kind of scrambled. And you guys take care. I'll get back on track to making normal videos soon. Nice to find people rate to and namesake. Yeah, I didn't want to talk about certain things out loud, but talk to you later. Night, guys. Y'all take care now. Y'all come back. Swim on.